My name is Randy Bigley. Joining me on the podcast right now from Pioneer Career and Technical Center, we have Superintendent Greg Nickoli. Good morning.
Hey, Randy, it's great to see you today. Thanks for having us come over.
Well, thank you. It was good. We're glad to have you over. I'm a graduate of Pioneer Adult Education out there, so I'm very familiar with the school.
Yeah, we love to see our alum, especially successful folks. You're doing a great job. We appreciate it. Thanks for the shout out.
Well, thank you. Exactly. What I took, and it seems like you're like, what's this got to do with what you know? I took office technologies out there, but here's why: I type every day, and I learned the whole Microsoft Office system, and that has benefited me so much. And just by, I may have just went into a different area of that, but what I learned there and how to write, how to do so, that's benefited me.
Well, that really, good or bad, it's kind of the foundation of so many parts of our jobs anymore.
Right.
And even jobs that are very, very hands-on have a component that is computer-based. And, one of my favorite examples is to walk into our auto tech lab where they work on cars, and they still change tires and change oil and do those kinds of things. But if your car isn't running properly or it's not running at all, the first thing they do is hook it up to a computer to do a diagnosis to it. I mean, computers have they've just infested every part of our world, and so that and a lot of them are Microsoft based. So if you have those basic skills, you can translate those or transfer those into other parts of your job.
Learning to type was the best thing. And that's
Randy, I'm old enough that I learned to type on a manual typewriter, and hopefully some of our listeners know what I'm talking about when I say that. But I learned on that manual typewriter with a towel put over my hand so I couldn't see the keys, and I would tell you probably the most valuable course I took in high school. Much to I hope none of my high school teachers are listening. My English and math and science teachers are listening, because it was probably was the one course that I've used throughout my life and still use today.
Yeah, same here. Exactly. Every day I use it. So So let's talk about what's going on at Pioneer. You guys are into what we've been almost not quite half a year yet. But
we're closing in on the end of our first semester. We finish up our first semester right before our holiday break, for our winter break, which is December 21st. I think is the last day of school. We go through. I think we're 3 weeks from just coming up here. So
you're almost halfway.
Almost halfway through. Yeah, we finished our first grading period, got through that, and had a tremendous first 9 weeks. We published our honor roll a couple of weeks ago, and to be honest with you, the number escapes me. The number of students that are on the honor roll and the number of all A students is a great student body this year, doing a great job. And so we're off to a great first half of the school year.
Well, awesome. Yeah, good to hear that. So what else is happening?
Well, honestly, this time of the year, we're in that stretch between Thanksgiving and the Christmas holidays. Is a big time of behind-the-scenes work for our next sophomore recruiting class. So our guidance counselors have been out in the home schools. They typically do that during the month of November, and so they hit each of the home schools and spend some time with the sophomore classes in a variety of ways. Sometimes they do it in large groups, sometimes they do it in individual classes, but they've been out sharing online experiences with our kids, showing them with the sophomores, showing them what we have to offer. Kind of figuring out what they might be interested in, and then we'll take that information back and kind of schedule them through visits that we'll do in January. So a lot of work right now going on the back end of things for us to get ready for a big recruitment push in January.
How many school districts do you guys?
We have 14 districts that are a part of Pioneer that are actually what we consider our partner school districts. But then we also have students that come to us through open enrollment. So we have students typically from another 6 to 8 districts. And it's typically the districts that are close by. You think about Mansfield City, Mansfield Senior, Madison. We typically have some students there. We always have some students from Clear Fork, given that it's a Richland County school. But we also typically have students from Ashland County, so we might have some Hillsdale students, Mapleton students, even Black River. Probably and we don't have any students this year, but the students who drove the farthest to come to Pioneer, we had some students from East Knox a few years ago.
Really?
2 students who drove up to take advantage of our College Now program. So they made the trek every day from Howard to Shelby, and
That's quite a drive, yeah.
That's quite a drive. Yeah, it's I've made that drive before, and it's
right.
it's a little bit of a challenge. But they made that drive every day and had great experiences. So yeah, it's 14 partner schools that we work with really closely. But then, like I said, lots of students who take advantage of our offerings from other districts too.
Awesome. So I've seen recently you have something called a 3E. What is that?
Well, yeah, we call that our What's Your E program. And really it's what it's about is helping our students identify what it is they're going to do after high school graduation. And I guess one of the things that we try to just make sure that our students understand as well, high school graduation is a wonderful landmark in their educational careers and their lives. It's a wonderful experience. It's not really the end of anything. It's just a transition point. That time when you go from being a school student to whatever it is you're going to do in your adult life. So we've adopted the What's Your E program, and essentially the 3 E's are employment, which I think a lot of folks know that we do a lot with our local employers. Enrollment, meaning enrollment into some sort of post-secondary education, be it a 4-year school, 2-year school, or some of our specific trade type schools. And then enlistment into the military. And so, you know, our process at Pioneer isn't really, you know, I always say we're not pro-college, we're not anti-college. It's not if you come to Pioneer, you're not going to go to school, or if you come to Pioneer, you are going to go to school. Our role in a student's education is to help them identify what it is they want to do after high school, and then help them figure out what the most economical way is to get there. So if you know, I say if a student wants to be a nurse, well, you're probably going to do some sort of post-secondary education, whether you do the bachelor, the BSN degree, or whether you get an associate's degree or a LPN credential, whatever it is, you're going to do some training beyond high school. But a lot of our students will come to us and say, hey, I want to weld. Well, we can give them the credentials that they need to be able to enter that career right out of high school. And so that's a very viable option. You know, so we have kids who want to enter those types of professions right away, and that doesn't necessarily require post-secondary education. And so we can help them get there. And of course, obviously, the military is we're a Purple Star school, so we're very big proponents and supporters of our military folks, and so we have recruiters in frequently to stop in and see students that they've connected to in various ways, and they'll set up tables periodically to share what the great advantages of military enlistment entail. So we really want to make sure that our students have a plan for after high school, and that that's really ultimately that's the responsibility of every school, and we've just made it a little bit more of a structured process.
Sure. Guys just got back to school from your break, right, today?
We did, yeah. We have maybe a day longer, or maybe 2 days longer than a lot of schools. We do the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and then we also do the Monday after Thanksgiving. So, I jokingly say the Wednesdays for our cooks and Mondays for our hunters.
Right.
So it just depends on which. And so I suppose some folks do both, and like myself, neither. I'm an eater in between. That's my role. So
I'm a professional.
Yes. So So we just got back from our break, and it was a great return. It was a much needed break. It's a long stretch in schools from typically that Labor Day weekend to Thanksgiving break. That gets to be a little tiring on our students and staff, and so it was a much needed break. But just walking around the building this morning, kids and teachers are energized. I saw a couple of teachers said, "Hey, I feel great. I'm ready." Was ready to get back at it. The big issue is we only have about 3 weeks, as we said earlier, between now and the holidays, and so there's a lot that has to be done in that time. So when the holiday winter break gets here, it'll be much needed as well.
When do you guys get back from winter break then?
We'll come back January 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah. So just a couple days after New Year's and that holiday, we'll get right back at it. And like I said, we'll go really full bore for a few months, and then we'll get to a spring break. So
Yeah.
it's one of the things in education that you find is that we're very cyclical. You know, you start in August and you work hard till about that Thanksgiving break, and you get a few days off, and then you work hard till the holidays, and then you get back, and then there's a long stretch till spring break, and then once spring break gets there, you know, it feels like the year's over because you're into all the end of the year stuff then, from award ceremonies and all of the end of year testing and everything that we do, and that, you know, that just makes the year fly by. So, but we are very cyclical in education, and it makes the school year fly by. I always say the days are long, but the years go by fast.
They do. You know, being married to a teacher, I know how that goes. I mean, she works her tail off there. Of course, I think teachers, I'm going to stick up for teachers. I think they work hard all the time anyways. I know people, they get a lot of, people say, well, they work part of the year. No, you'd be surprised that teachers work almost the whole year round.
They really do, yeah. I mean, you know, it's not necessarily formalized working, but, you know, a good teacher spends a lot of their off time, you know, their time when they're not, you know, in the classroom, you know, bettering themselves either through professional development, exploring their content, you know, just looking at better ways to provide that, to instruct in that content. And, you know, we're very fortunate that we have a great teaching staff at Pioneer. We have a great staff all the way around, but a great teaching staff who, you know, they're very innovative, and you know, they understand that the best way to learn is to immerse yourself in things, and so they do, and by you know, by kind of then our students do as well, and so it makes for a really fun school.
Yeah. Anything else coming up that we missed, or?
Well, those are the big highlights. I said, kind of working through that sophomore visitation stuff. One thing that we have going on that I'm really proud of is the number of students that we have out on our early job placement. You know, we have, you know, those students that have, you know, have decided that whether they're going to just work full time once they graduate from high school, or whether they're working part time now with the idea that they'll work to help pay for school later on. Part of that employment portion is our early job placement program. So the way that works is a student who is a senior, they've completed 1 year of their career technical program, can be released to work in a related job, a related field, for part of their school day. And so we are at 120, 130 of our seniors who are already out working in their fields, in their respective fields. So, you know, it's a great learning experience. There's really not a better learning experience than that full immersion into your chosen field. And you know, so we make sure that they have the the foundational skills, and both on the technical side and also on the work ethic side. You know, that we know that they're going to show up to work every day. We know that they're going to do what they're supposed to do. That they have the skills to do the job. But you know, so. But it's made for a wonderful program, very beneficial to our employers and our you know, I always like to talk about it because I want more and more of our employers to know about it, so that if possible they can take advantage of it. It's a great asset for our students, but also for our communities.
Best way to learn is out on the job lots of times.
It is. It most definitely is. There's nothing like learning, you know, getting your hands dirty and getting right into a job, and just as importantly, learning. You know, our staff at Pioneer all have, you know, typically long careers in the field, and they bring that to the classroom. But in addition to that, working alongside folks who've typically been in the field for a number of years and have, you know, it's just maybe a different way of sharing that knowledge is also a great way to learn. And so it's just, you know, it's a great program, and like I said, it benefits our students, but it also benefits our communities.
Do you have a website people can check out?
We do, yes. I would encourage you to look at www.gotopioneer.com. And it's the number 2, pioneer.com. You know, explore everything that we have there. Whether you have a student, you know, a high school student, or even a middle school student who might be thinking about Pioneer as an educational option. Look there. You can do a 3D tour of Pioneer. You can read and see videos on all the things that we offer. But also, if you're an adult, we have a very outstanding adult education program number of full-time programs.
I'll vouch for that.
There we go, another shout out.
Yeah.
Not only a number of full-time programs, but a number of short-term programs that also lead to industry credentials. So, and one thing that's new in the last few years is our adult diploma program. I think we've talked about that at different times. Those individuals who maybe didn't achieve that high school diploma but want to, we can offer that through a really, really interesting program. I'd be happy to share more if you give us a call, ask for our adult education office. The key component to that I always like to make people aware of is that it's 100% free to the student. So it is a state-funded program as a way to increase the educational attainment level in our area.
All right, Greg, thank you so much for coming in today.
It was great chatting. I love coming over and
Same here. I like
catching
having you
up.
over. Same here. Thank you so much, Greg.
Bye-bye.